Welcome to Monday Mayhem with MacIntyre and Miller. Join us, fanboy and fangirl, about conventions, sports, music, movies, and invite celebrity guests to join them. You can score along at home every time they get squirrely, but let's not delay. Here's Suzy MacIntyre and Jeff Miller, and it's the Monday Mayhem.
Yay.
Yay! Hello!
Yay! It's Monday.
Welcome to Monday Mayhem with MacIntyre and Miller, Otherworldly Culture's most manic moderators, here to break up the monotonous, mundane misery of Monday with our mayhem and mischief. You may recognize our marvelous mugs from Otherworldly Culture's rotating Thursday shows, where we have Dead On Movie reviews, where 4 of our panelists review horror picks with lively debate. The Now Streaming, hosted by yours truly, where I preside over a court of critics, where we critique cinema as any of my favorite movies that I choose, as long as it can be found on a free ad-supporting television streaming site. And the third one is Dead on Bases, which, take it away, Jeffy, to explain that one.
That's my show. Well, no, actually, I co-host with Tim, who produces this show, and we call him the Great and Powerful. What it is, it's a real quick synopsis. It's a sports fan watching horror movies, a horror fan watching sports movies. We tell you what we think of them, we grade them, and then we have a trivia at the end. And I'm season 9 champion, so that's all you really need to know.
Yay! All right, how was your week?
I had a good week. I did, didn't I? Yeah, I had a real good week.
Hey, I don't care anymore. We got to move on.
All right, fine. How was your week?
My week was great, but we got a lot to talk about this. Actually, the next 2 or 3 episodes, we got a great stuff coming on. We don't have time to talk about my glorious week. I mean, we talk about me all the time. It can't always be about myself and my tiaras. We are going to move into, I have a special guest for you.
Oh, cool. Who?
Yes. So I know we just recently had you. Oh, surprise.
There he is.
So we just recently had you at Pittsburgh, where you met the one and only, the actor, producer, director, writer. I hope I didn't forget any of your other titles, but Mike Ancas. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Howdy.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
All right. Well, I don't know. We just, on our other show, Now Streaming, we just reviewed your Chasing Zombies. Goodness gracious. I haven't even had a drink tonight and I'm still stuttering.
Wow.
Your tribute to George Romero. We did just recently review that on Now Streaming, and everybody loved it. We're going to get into that a little later, but I just kind of figured, since we did that one, and since Jeffy just met you in person at his trip to Pittsburgh, why not bring you in and talk about pretty much everything you've been before, now, and what you got coming up. So thank you again for joining us on this mundane, misery, snowy Monday that we had.
My pleasure.
So Mike, you know what I mean? It's Dawn of the Dead. I mean, it's huge. And what is it like to be part of a film that has become such a cultural, it's been such a cultural thing for horror film fans and fans alike? I mean, what is it like to have your name attached to that?
That's easy for you to say.
It is, right? I should have a drink.
I have no idea, because I wasn't in Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
He was in Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Okay. They start with a DA. Maybe I have been drinking. I lied to everybody. Okay,
Same
I'm
thing.
sorry. Day of the Dead. Tell me
Day of
what
the
it's
Dead.
like to have that attached to you. I'm really sorry.
Well, no. Now, I set Jeffy up for this one because
You did.
he is not a horror person, and he met you at the mall where it was Dawn of the Dead. So he had to really do a zombie research.
I'm going to take the next 28 minutes off, I think. Just sit back and you guys just talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, hush. But it's the same thing. Dawn. So actually there was Night of the Living Dead, then Dawn of the Dead, then Day of the Dead. And they all
Right.
so they're all in the same universe. It was just a trick question for you.
And I
But-
was around for Dawn of the Dead. I lived in Monroeville, so I was at the mall many different times watching them film, but I never really had the balls to raise my hand and say, hey, you guys need another zombie? I'll be happy to accommodate, but I just sat there and watched. So if I'd raised my hand, I might very well have been in Dawn of the Dead too.
But now, Jeffy, I think your question still stands, though, as far as how did you end up getting into Day then? And were you already in films and all of those things when
No, I was racing cars. I played a lot of volleyball, and my friend and I opened up a collectible shop in Bloomfield. Happened to be right across from where Tom Savini lived. So one day, Tom walked into the shop, and we had a lot of movie posters and baseball cards and comic books and horror magazines. And Tom and I struck up a conversation, and fast forward a few months later, we became, pretty good friends. And then, they started working on Day of the Dead, and he asked me to come on out and bring my camera, take a bunch of photos. And then, by the way, he'd make me into a zombie while I was there. So I was actually 2 different zombies in Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were 2 different ones. And
a lot of us were double. Greg Nicotero was, one of the actors. He played one of the soldiers, but he was a zombie. I think he might have been 2 different zombies. I think George ended up being a zombie. There were a whole bunch of people that played more than one role.
Jeffy, you got anything?
Yeah, I want to know what your 2 zombies were. What were their names, or what did they look like? Could you help a guy like me out that's not that in tune with Day of the Dead?
Yeah, I kind of made up a name for my character. I'm pretty good at making nothing into something in my life.
Sure.
But I just happened to be in a scene where we were ripping, one of the guys' heads off. So I kind of titled myself as the head ripper zombie.
Okay.
And that's the one where the only reason I'm kind of getting invited to Comic-Cons now, I think, is because I'm not sure who took it. It might have been Tom. It might have been Greg Nicotero. Took a full frontal photo, and you can see it in there, of me as a zombie after they finished my makeup. They took Polaroids for other people, but I had my camera there, and they used my camera and took a really good shot of myself. So not a lot of other background zombies had that photo. And then there was another zombie. I was the first one. Suzy, you'll know this scene. It's right near the end when all the zombies that were being held in the corral, the gate breaks open and we all come storming out of the corral. Well, I was the zombie that broke open the gate and came staggering out. But that was cut from the movie. And looking back as a director and editor now, I can get a good idea why. And that's because when the gate broke open, that probably looked pretty good. But then you really only saw me, and there was a female zombie behind me, and another one trickled in behind that. But there would have only been a few zombies in that particular scene. So that opening part got cut, and the scene that George used was a whole bunch of zombies coming out of that corral gate.
Now, is that scene, I know it was cut, but is it in any other versions or director's cut?
No, I haven't seen it anywhere. And literally back then, stuff ended up on the cutting room floor, where digitally now we can save anything. I can go in and get some really embarrassing shots of a lot of the people that have been in my films, and I keep threatening Tim Bendig, who is the announcer at Steel City Con. My film Tributaries, we use Tim.
We're talking about that one in just a little bit.
Yeah, but I have an embarrassing thing for him. But I think I was wearing sweatpants in that one scene where I burst through the gates. So I think someone called me the sweatpants zombie for that one. And I have a shot of that, but I don't have it on I don't think I have it anywhere for anybody to look at. But
And I think you sort of answered this, but Jeffy and I were talking about this earlier, because you are considered a quote unquote featured zombie. And we were wondering what really defines one of Romero's, what do we call them? Featured zombies versus
zombie extras, I guess. Yeah. there were a lot of zombie extras that were visible in his movies. In Day of the Dead, they were mostly gray-faced, with maybe a little blood, not too much else. Even Michael Tommaso, who's one of the executive producers on Chasing Zombies, he was in Day of the Dead towards the end, and he played the football player zombie. And if you look at that scene, you can see him for about 3 seconds. He's just gray-faced. There's no blood or anything. So he pretty much looks like he did back then. Hard to recognize me, though. So the difference is when I was the zombie that was in the corral, I went through an assembly line of makeup artists. And I think they were all from Carnegie Mellon, if I remember correctly. And there were different stations, and you would just go from one station to the next. Now, a featured zombie, you are in Tom Savini's makeup chair for a couple hours. They are doing latex, on your forehead and other parts of your body, or they're making really intricate wounds. So you're spending a lot of time in the makeup chair.
Gotcha.
So that's the featured zombie versus the zombie that's kind of in the background. And Tom actually, the difference between the zombies in Dawn of the Dead, which was 1978, and Day of the Dead, which was 85, Tom made a whole bunch of really cool masks that a lot of the background extras wore in Day of the Dead. So it looked way more realistic. He spent a lot more time on the makeup in Day of the Dead.
So what I was going to ask you, and you've already answered it, but I want to see if I'm still right on this or not right on this. You say you have a tendency of making something out of nothing. And what I was going to ask you is, were you just there as a zombie and you're like, wait, I'm going to take the lead here. I'm going to jump in the front of this scene and I'm going to make a name for my zombie. But I think you've answered it by saying you were, quote unquote, a lead zombie. So you had a scene that you had to perform. Is that right?
Yeah. It was what they called a featured zombie. But that was in 1985. And then I would see George from time to time for a few years, and I hung out with Tom quite a bit, probably all the way into the early 90s. But Day of the Dead, my role there didn't really mean much to me through the years until I went up in the attic and found a scrapbook, and then I took pictures of it and I put it on Facebook. And then, Larry, who loves to find zombies that were in these movies, contacted me because I had all these great photos, including, some good ones of me. And he asked me to go to my first Living Dead weekend. So that I'm thinking, well, I'm going to create a name for myself. So I became the Head Ripper Zombie. I gave that name to myself.
Yeah.
So now I'm, like I said, I was just a zombie, a background zombie, basically. And now I get invited to Comic-Con. So I took basically nothing and made it into like a character.
Gotcha.
And now I'm going to totally switch topics because that's what we do on this show. We squirrel away. But
you get a squirrel for that, or no?
I'm squirreling on this one now. You gave me the perfect opportunity to talk about what I want to talk about now. Like, it's all zombies, but believe it or not, I actually want to talk about something else. I know it doesn't happen often because everybody knows I love my zombies, I love my slashers, but I also love all of my little sci-fi and Hallmark movies as well. Like, I love the cheesy Christmas Hallmark movies, and I love my sci-fi movies. Well, you kind of found a way to make it's not a cheesy Hallmark one, but you brought my little romance into a sci-fi movie. And I want to talk about that for a little bit. Jeffy, I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not.
I'm sorry, I did not.
But
it's a really good movie.
It really is. It also made me look up the dictionary because I honestly, being in Pittsburgh with all these little rivers, had no idea what tributaries meant. So I had to look that one up. So thank you for that. See, look, it was educational as well. But anyway, Tributaries, it is a sci-fi movie. It's not a horror. It is a project that Mike did with his wife, Brenda. If you don't know Brenda, she's awesome. She's amazing. She's beautiful. She's sweet. I don't know how you ended up with her.
Me neither. No clue.
You outkicked your coverage with her.
Out of my league.
Yeah. But I do encourage everybody to watch it. Just so you know, it is on. You can rent it on Amazon. I think it actually might even be free on Amazon right now.
Yeah, sometimes Amazon will do that. I have no control over it. I think it's been free. It was free initially because I wanted it to be free, and then they charged for it $1.99 or something like that, and then I think it was free again.
And interestingly enough, because I just rewatched it just to gear up to be able to talk about some of the things that I need to know about it. I rewatched it and it didn't even have commercials this time with it. So,
good.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I will let you talk a little bit about Tributaries. I got a lot of questions about that one. One of my most loyal fans on this show, the Bearded Beauty, he did have a comment when he watched it. He wanted to know, now this is a spoiler, but the main guy character in it, you kind of knocked him off after the second date. And the Bearded Beauty wants to know why you didn't wait till the quote unquote third date. And if people know anything about the third date, you can comment in the comment section when you're watching this. But anyway.
Well, that's easy. It was in the script. I don't know. The lead actress, Rosie Coster, who is just if you've seen the film, she is exceptionally good. Her scenes at the end of the film, which were filmed in my Nissan SUV, by the way, using only a dome light for lighting, it still came out really good. That was 18 pages of dialogue that the two of them, Connor McNeilis and Rosie Coster, kind of memorized. I mean, they had the script on their lap they could refer to, but that was really intense and one of my favorite parts of the film. But anyhow, the guy, it's a film about a couple that meets at a Comic-Con, actually Steel City Con.
Right.
You never know if someone's going to say yes or no unless you actually ask. But I approached Bob and Denise from Own Steel City Con, and I said, hey, how about I've got this film. How about letting me shoot a few scenes there? And they looked on IMDb and they saw that I had a presence there. They didn't know I was a nobody. So they said, sure. So we came in and we shot some of the opening scenes, right here in Pittsburgh at Steel City Con. And the couple meets there. They kind of fall in love. And then they kind of go to the Pittsburgh Sports Bar and meet up with a few other friends. And it's kind of a funny and awkward conversation. And then they have a lot of more, just like in real life, they call each other a lot and have a lot more conversations. And then they decide to go out on their second date. And of course, I kill them off in a car accident.
I have to say, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. When I first,
Good.
When I read the synopsis, now this is a spoiler. So if you haven't watched it, tune out for a little bit and then come watch it. But anyway, I really thought with it being a sci-fi and talking with the tributaries and the way everything kind of goes, almost like a sliding doors type thing, I thought when he died, she was going to find a way to bring him back. It was almost going to be like a sliding door or somewhere in time type thing. But it totally did not go in that. So normally I figure things out. So yeah, it did not take it in the direction that I thought at all. So it was actually very surprising to me.
I've had a thing for a long time about choice. I talk about it in Chasing Zombies too, how you maybe choose to turn left when you leave the bank instead of right, and then you run into somebody, and the next thing you know, that person might be a very important person in your life. They might change your life. So you just never know a decision you're going to make, what's going to happen. So with Tributaries, you come to a fork in the road, and you decide whether you're going left or right. And in this case, all of us would be in that situation. For instance, what would happen, Suzy, if you some of the people that you've met in your life, your husband, for instance.
Right.
I'm sure there was an instance that if you had done something differently, you might not have met him.
Right. If I would have swiped this way instead of that way.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And you know, that's a perfect way to look at it. But what about the Suzy that swept the other way?
Right.
Is she moving in a different direction in a parallel universe?
Right. And
So
I
they're
love,
two-
I don't
Yeah.
know about you, Jeffy, but I love movies that
Yeah.
do have the parallel universes.
Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow is one I can think of right now.
Right. And that's what I
Yep.
said. It's very much kind of like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we find out that the guy that died is alive in an alternate universe, and Rosie ends up slipping into that. Well, the Jessica character ends up slipping into that universe. So it's I've always toyed with that, and it kind of came to me one night, and I woke up the next morning and started writing the script.
And so at the end of it, I do want to, so I'm curious about this one because I don't know, my mind went off with watching it because, you know, I was going deep in it. But the end kind of does leave it open to some interpretation. Because when I did, I was like, okay, is there really an alternate timeline here thing? Or did she really die? And is this her, you know, version of when she's dead? Or is this all a coma dream? Or
what was she reaching into her purse to get?
yeah.
So is she going to go into the bar and confront her alternate self? That wouldn't make any sense. The reason I kind of left it hanging is because one of my couple of my favorite movies, The Shining, the 2001: A Space Odyssey, I would walk out of those movies and have long discussions with my friends about, wait, what happened? Where is this going? What were they trying to get us to think there? And a lot of movies will tie everything up in a nice little bow, and I like that just fine. But I didn't want to do that here. So is she gonna kill the other one of her that exists in the current universe and take her place?
And I would have loved to have found out what would have happened to herself if she would have killed. See, I need a follow up to this movie. You got to give me like a sequel or something.
Well, I'll tell you what, from everything that I've heard from both of you, I'm going to watch this movie in the next couple of days because it sounds very interesting.
Yeah, see, and then we'll have to review that one too.
Yeah, it's a slow burn. The beginning, we've got to set the characters, and you know, there's in the car accident, we don't show any cars. And my one friend who was in the focus group said, well, you should have shown a car accident. And I said, okay, how about you loaned us your car? and he said, and he goes, well, just get a car and throw it off a cliff.
But see, I thought it was great.
Well, then who's going to get the car at the bottom of the cliff? I mean, you got. So there's nothing like that. So there's just a lot of character development. So if you can stay awake through the first 10 minutes, then you'll be rewarded.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
You didn't show it though either, because again, it kind of goes back to the interpretation of what could have happened or didn't happen.
Yeah.
But with that, I do want to talk about some of your other movies and obviously Chasing Zombies, but we are out of time for tonight. So we are going to thank you very, very much. I'll let Jeffy thank you, but then we're going to thank you, wrap it up, and then bring you back in for next week's show so we can continue.
Sounds like a plan.
Anyway, Jeffy, you want to say any goodbyes to him and thank him before we start wrapping it up?
No, thanks for this first half hour. Thanks for sticking with me, even though I had that big faux pas in the beginning, but it's going to be a lot of fun in our second show.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this show is fun too. Don't get me wrong.
I think we're going to do fun on the phones now before we start rolling it out. I don't know. You're more than welcome to stay on for fun on the phones with Squirrel.
I don't know if we have time for that.
We don't have time.
We're going to have to do that fun with the phone with the squirrels next hour.
All right, yeah. See, we always run out of time. This is great. Do we have our promo time? Yes, we do.
Oh, promos?
Are we doing promos? I don't know. If not,
promo.
what do you say?
We can do a promo.
All right, let's do one.
Tell me what
do we got?
Whichever one you want, Suzy. He'll push the button.
All right, let's talk about
Krampus and more.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We got Monroeville Mall, which we were just talking about, where Dawn of the Dead was filmed.
That's scary.
Sunday, November 30th. If you want to come out and see me, I will be dressed in my finest Krampus dress with some of the biggest and baddest Krampuses there. We're going to have a whole festival. There's going to be photos. Marketplace. I'm going to be there, like I said, twirling around, taking everybody's photo. I'm going to have my cattle prod with me, but most important, like I said, Krampus will be there. Come out and join us and have some fun, and come check out all of the amazing local vendors and get some Christmas shopping done. It's going to be great, 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 great. And then again, Darkside Collectibles, where Tim Godek in Plumboro, he's on now streaming with us. He has his collectible shop. We've collaborated together. We're going to be bringing you a couple different events. Mighty Evening with Sean Weiss, which is going to be February 7th. There's going to be a meet and greet. If you do the VIP passes, we have dinner. It includes an autograph. It includes a pro photo op, all kinds of good stuff. So come out and check that out as well. Check out our Facebook pages. We're going to have all the events up there as well. So I'm pretty sure that's it for this evening. I think. I don't know. Can't pay attention that long, so I don't know if I'm forgetting something or not. Too bad.
Is Krampus going to like follow people in the mall, or is he going to be like in a cage?
Oh, he follows people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. So.
All righty. So, in closing. Oh, go ahead, honey. What
I have nothing to say.
All right.
I was curious about Krampus because now have they had that a lot, or is this the first annual?
Yeah, but every year. We can talk about it next week too. But yeah, every year. Don't you follow me on Facebook? There's all kinds of pages with me hanging out with them.
Somehow, I don't know.
Anyway, please remember to rate us, like us, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, share us, help newbies find us, so Otherworldly Cultures can keep doing its thing, and I can keep driving Tim the Great and the Powerful crazy. Reach out to us, email us, DM us, whatever us. And don't forget, it's all fun and games till somebody loses their nuts.
Hey, did he put up our email addresses? It's my name at otherworldlyculture.com. It's Suzy's name at otherworldlyculture.com.
To find us. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Whether it's dawn or day, it's all good.
Or night, or
Monday. MacIntyre every Monday.
Otherworldlyculture.com. Subscribe, like, and comment on our posts all over social media and our site, otherworldlyculture.com.